So you join me here on Battlefield 4, and yes, a completely fresh account. What I've done is bought Premium, and I don't feel guilty for doing it because Battlefield 4 is a game that's given me thousands of hours of entertainment, so getting another account really doesn't bother me at all. A bit of a shill link here, but if you go in the description below, you can pick up Battlefield 4 for like a $5, Premium for a $10 if you want it. I don't know, if you've never played Battlefield 4, you definitely should. Anyway, the purpose of this video was to see what it was like to be a new player. What could you expect from Battlefield 4? And the first thing I did was quick play into a match, and it stuck me on here. And I'm actually playing with my friend Corsair. You guys know him, he's been around for years, we've played in the helicopter loads, he's got his own channel. Definitely worth checking out if you are into Battlefield 3 and 4 content. He doesn't do anything really on BF1 or BF5, he prefers the older Battlefield games. Now the other day I was thinking to myself, what was it like when I personally started out for the first time on Battlefield 4? What weapons do you start with? What unlocks do the vehicles have? You know, what maps do you get thrown into? It's usually Conquest as your first mode, but where does the game try and put you? And it gave me a great idea for a new series. Essentially, I'm going to take a completely fresh Battlefield 4 account, starting of course at level 1 with no unlocks, and work my way up, unlocking all the best weapons and vehicle loadouts along the way. And of course I'll share my experience with you. As my favourite vehicle, and the vehicle that kind of got this channel started, it's where this channel actually began at the very start of 2015, we're going to be looking at the attack helicopter in episode 1. And it will be the first 2 or 3 matches, 3 matches I think, that we played on this new account, with some fun along the way. Now this first server was where it really got started. Of course we're level 1, and whenever you get killed by a level 1, well, it usually means that they're either cheating or that it's a Smurf account, and we'll get onto that in a bit. But for this, of course, we're not cheating, we're just experienced players playing on fresh accounts. So not doing anything wrong here, but it could be a little bit disorientating for the enemy team. So starting out on this map, it's Dragon Pass, which was the China Rising DLC, so of course you need Premium if you want to play it, and it's quite rare actually to find a server that has this map, or at least I thought so. Of course, the first match I play on my new account, I get thrown into this server, so clearly they do exist. And I think it's a really good example of all-out warfare on Battlefield 4. The map is absolutely massive, huge. The size of this map really makes a lot of the more modern Battlefield games like BF1 and BF5, it puts them to shame, because this map is just absolutely massive. Some of the flags are miles apart from each other. It's just a really good one. I feel like in the attack helicopter most of the time you're up against a lot of air vehicles, scout helicopters, attack helis, and of course the stealth jets, but at the same time the AA guns are probably your biggest threat. But luckily we have these big mountains to hide between. Now starting out with the attack helicopter, as you'll know if you've ever played Battlefield 4, the game is really cruel to new players in vehicles. It starts you out with essentially the worst loadout you can have. So in this case, for the gunner, I have the zoom, which is quite nice. Sometimes it is good just to keep the zoom. The thermal isn't always the best option, although I do prefer it. The zoom is pretty decent, but you then only get the 20mm cannon. You don't get the TV missile, you don't get the air-to-ground lock-on missile, you don't get anything, you just get the 20mm gun. And that puts you at a major disadvantage against a lot of enemies. Sure, you're pretty good versus infantry still, and you're obviously going to be fine against air vehicles in close quarters, but that range, it's gone. The helicopter can't do really very much damage at range anymore, which is a massive, massive shame. But of course we will unlock the TV missile, and actually our first few games are so successful we managed to unlock it just in time for the 3rd game, which is really quite nice. Usually with the attack helicopter we run it as a ground attack or ground support role, as you see that stealth jet just fly into our base AA and explode. But usually we do run it as a ground support attack helicopter, which essentially means that we're looking to take down tanks, we're looking to batter objectives, and here we go. You can see actually in the background the first few players that we're going to style on as they're sitting there sniping. The first guy I take out with the MX4, which is apparently the weapon you start out with because I haven't done anything to this class, and then the second guy's sitting there trying to snipe, so we put him out of his misery, as you'd expect. But yeah, usually with the attack helicopter, I go for a ground attack roll. So taking out as much stuff on the floor as I can, and then if I see an air vehicle, we'll hunt it. In this game, though, the enemy team had a real issue with taking us out. They do have the AA guns, which should be able to kill us across the map. It's very easy to do so, but they didn't do it, and their jets were just awful. Just flying at us, trying to ram us, trying to lock us, but just couldn't do a good job of taking us out. And even without the TV missile, we were completely fine, to be honest, for most of this round, on a map that is really open, and we shouldn't have had so much freedom. I can't complain though. First round on a new account, and we just managed to dominate. I guess you could call it a Smurf account, or a second account, and on some games, this sort of behaviour is frowned upon, and as you see in the server there, we both got kicked, and we both got banned, because apparently farming isn't allowed on that server. Whatever that means, you're not allowed to get a kill streak. Apparently the admins don't like it when you get kill streaks, so I can't imagine being level 3 really helped our case there, but whatever, we got booted. The next match we jumped into, Dawnbreaker, again a good map for the attack helicopter. You saw how much damage we took. They had an AA player camping in the base the entire time, and I don't think there are many worse playstyles in Battlefield 4 than a camping AA player. I've got nothing wrong with you taking an AA gun and trying to shoot the heli. That's completely fine, of course. You need to do it. But camping in your base and doing it, I don't like that at all. You want to try and get as close as you can to take down the attack heli and do him that way. Unfortunately, we still don't have the TV missile, so that's why he was having so much luck against us. You need the TV missile to fire the first shot against the AA to hit him, hopefully disable him. Maybe he accidentally pops his APS, and here's a pretty awesome moment. First kill with the MBT law on a jet. Pretty pleased with that one. It was a very easy shot, but nice anyway. Hop back in the attack helicopter and get back on our merry way. I feel though it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a scummy tactic sitting in your base in an AA, but it's a tactic that a player who doesn't have the confidence to come out and actually kill more than just the air vehicles would do. I've taken the AA before. It's absolutely insane. People who think it's balanced, just completely wrong. The AA, mobile AA in Battlefield 4 is so broken. You've seen some of my kill streaks. I get more kills on infantry in an AA gun than I do in a tank. The thing is so strong. It can kill any air vehicle at any range if you're good enough. And it is so quick. It can go on water. It can pretty much escape anything. It's got Zunis if you really want to cause damage to enemy tanks, and it does a lot of damage. It can virtually one-bang a tank from behind. It's not balanced, but the game's not going to be patched, so at least you know what you're up against. Here you see a couple of helicopters getting round us, and we're not reacting to them. That's because we don't have air radar, or at least the pilot doesn't have air radar. That's something we will unlock, maybe in later episodes, and you'll see how strong the heli is with these upgrades. And now, I think we did die actually between these two clips, and I've unlocked the IRNV. I feel like the Incredible Hulk with this massive green scope. It's actually not very useful. I've found that in close quarters it's okay, but it really doesn't help. It just makes everything green. So I promptly got rid of that as soon as possible and switched back to zoom and thermal when we do eventually unlock it. It wasn't something that I really enjoyed, and I had to get rid of it as fast as I could. You're pretty much stuck on Dawnbreaker behind this central tower, purely because without a TV you can't take out the AA gun, but also it's quite difficult on Dawnbreaker to push if the enemies have the flags behind you. You often find yourself trapped with a lot of lock-ons either side of you. It can make life very difficult. So one final little clip from Dawnbreaker, and you're about to see the biggest betrayal of all time from my pilot. He tries this thing where you jump out the heli and jump back in order to unspot yourself. But unfortunately, as you see there, he doesn't get back in, and I'm left just floating through the air, and I get smored by this level, whatever he is, returning the favour as a low level, maybe as a Smurf account. So thanks very much to my pilot for that one. But it does give us the opportunity to skip forward to, of course, the home of the attack helicopter. It's Siege of Shanghai, but as you'll see, it's Russia versus China on this version of Siege of Shanghai. So we're in the Havoc, the bathtub. This is the worst attack helicopter in the game to fly. It's worse than the transport helicopter almost to fly, but the gunner seat is actually pretty sweet. Your cannon fires faster. I've unlocked the TV missile, immediately put it to good use on that attack helicopter, and then gunned him to pieces. My pilot steals a kill with a very well placed Zuni. And then I try and take out the transport helicopter, but a wonderful evasive maneuver completely evades me and he sticks it in the canal. A brilliant move. Kills everyone on board, but at least he didn't get hit by the TV missile. And that's good, because we took out both helicopters. They're not going to get up to sea now. There's no way they can take that tower unless they take the elevators, which is exactly what our team will want to see. Now, this is what a ground support attack helicopter will do. If you're in a tank and you're stupid enough, to be honest, it's a bit cruel saying that, but if you're not behind cover and you're not aware, you will die. There's pretty much nothing you can do. You can, like this guy does, a well-timed APS, but I knew he was going to do it, so I saved my TV to disable him, or at least immobilize him. He does survive, I think. He runs away. But there's no surviving it. If you're sitting out in the open like this tank, I mean, you're just giving yourself to the attack helicopter. It's a free kill, essentially. So you want to play on Shanghai undercover. I play a lot in the tank on Shanghai. It's one of my favourite tanking maps, and avoiding the attack helicopter is not difficult. Moving from flag to flag can be difficult, from C to B for example, but if you time it well and then use cover, go underneath the parts of the building, you can reverse into the different shop fronts, you can go underneath Bravo, you can easily avoid the attack helicopter. It's not a difficult task. But there we go, in 3 rounds, maybe less than 3 rounds of course, so 2 rounds and we had it all unlocked. That first round of Dragon Pass, the second round of Dawnbreaker, we've virtually unlocked everything on the attack helicopter. That's not bad. So level 4 I think we were, everything's unlocked. So it's really not that difficult to do. So I think in the next episode we might try some other vehicles, maybe go for the tank, we might go for an infantry round, see how much we can unlock, how fast can we get to the AEK and G18, which is what everyone likes to use. I prefer the Scar H, but we'll see how long it takes to unlock it. And this game was pretty much over, I feel, at this point. The enemies pretty much given up. People had started to quit. It was quite late night in the EU, so people stopped playing. We have to then go and join American servers. And of course, when you come up against an attack helicopter, it's about time to leave, and a lot of people did. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you did enjoy the video, leave a like down below. If you like the idea, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, of course, you're free to leave a dislike. Let me know what you'd like me to do in the next video of this. I'll try and focus my Battlefield 4 videos now on this other account. And there you see the attack helicopter pilot bailing out and actually suiciding. He redeployed. Quite a feisty tactic, I think, to avoid dying, but each to their own. And a fitting way to end this video, I suppose, is one of the longest lasting bugs in the Battlefield franchise. Can you guess what it is? Well, you're about to see. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.